And it's so much better to just give it to them. It doesn't cost much at all, depending on obviously how much you're doing. And that's, of course, for physical products, digital products. As far as I know, like you said, with the digital stuff, I actually don't look at that stuff too much after, other than signing it and going, that looks right. So, we trust our advisors maybe a little bit too much, but anyway, for the physical stuff. And again, in the end, we always have to say 50,000 times that, we're not CPAs and we're not tax guys. So definitely check with somebody, but that's kind of how we do it.
And I'm definitely not a brain surgeon.
Really? God, I thought you were.
All right. Although I have watched Brain Surgeon on Grey's Anatomy a couple times.
Yeah.
Maybe I could fake my way through it. I don't know.
I was just going to say that. Secret
All right.
passions.
So next question comes from Reg. And another very common question is, Reg is asking, is WordPress versatile enough to promote any kind of product or service, or is it more blog oriented? And this is actually a question emailed to me by a friend, something like this recently, a friend who works for a state government, and he's setting up some stuff for them and was going to use WordPress, but doesn't quite want it to be blog style. And, because they're not going to quite as often put content out, and they don't want commenting in certain pages, like all the specialized stuff. And in the end, so he's like, I don't know if WordPress is the right fit for us. And I did a couple searches, and within like 2 minutes, I found just tons of examples of government sites that were using WordPress to run their sites. And then said, well, what about companies? And I went and did a search, companies that use WordPress, and immediately found a huge list of companies. I mean, even the New York Times uses WordPress on part of their site. I don't think it's running the whole thing, but the end point here is that WordPress is incredibly flexible. You can use it as a content management service system just as much as you can use it for a blog, meaning even if you're just running a site that's a little more static, you can still make WordPress do quite a bit. And it's still very efficient because it's so well optimized, and it keeps track of all your different content. As the site grows and grows and grows, everything's stored nicely in a database rather than having all these static, separate HTML files or whatever language you're using stacked up everywhere, and you start losing track of where all the files are. It's nice to have a content management system that keeps that all in one nice place. So I'd say just about whatever style of site, certainly if you're doing our style of marketing, you can make WordPress work for you. If you really want to go and try to use something else, okay, fine, more power to you. All of our stuff is about WordPress, and we like it because there's such a huge community of people using it. It's definitely like the de facto blogging software, and even for businesses, and being used for a lot more than just blogging. Now, that said, if you're doing like an e-commerce site where you've got like shopping cart style, lots of different products that people can search through and do things with, well, in that case, you might want to look at doing, because I don't know, maybe there's a way to turn WordPress into a nice shopping cart with lots of different things that people can search and bring up separate product pages. But I know there's other content management systems that are specially designed to be that kind of an e-commerce site. So in that case, I would go and look around and see. I don't have anything to suggest there because we've never done that style of business, but that's my thoughts on the topic.
I agree. Actually, I have done a non-WordPress style site, and once I did WordPress and saw how it worked to do business through that, I would definitely, for myself, not go back. So that's about all I have to say on that, other than what you said.
All right, well, that's all that we have for the free portion of this Q&A. That gives you a sample of the Q&As that we do regularly for the Academy. We thought those were some great questions that we wanted to share with the whole audience because, again, those are questions that come up quite often, and we definitely wanted to give the answer to help anybody listening. But there's a lot more questions where these came from that Academy members also sent in, and we are going to be answering those inside of the Academy, released as a special Q&A with the entire program in there. But we have more questions about how to integrate WordPress well with your affiliate program and your accounting and your payment system and membership site and keep that all nice. A question from somebody who's still hung up on the idea of, what's good enough? When do I know I've got it good enough? I've got this perfectionism and I'm wanting to, wait till I feel like everything's exactly in place before launching. And I'm having a hard time getting past that, which is, I'm sure, something a lot of people run into. People asking questions about how much time we spend in our business and some things like that. So those questions, the answers to those questions will be available inside of the Academy. If you're listening to this and not yet an Academy member and interested in giving it a try, you can go and try that out at freeaudiogift.com. That will tell you how you can get your risk-free trial to the Internet Business Mastery Academy.
All right, so we've got a breakthrough real quickly we'd like to tell you about, and it's from Russell Voles. Is that how you say it?
I imagine that sounds right.
We need a couple Smiths or Johnsons or something. But anyway, okay, so here's what he wrote in. He said, I finally found my niche. Yay, Russell. That's the huge thing. Okay, so he said these questions helped. So these are the questions that helped him find his niche. Number 1, what am I really good at doing? Number 2, what kind of people do I like doing things with? I'm assuming he wants at the end there. And 3, what subject or activities interest me? And number 4, what are my true strengths? Then he goes on to say, after 2 months of searching, I kept finding that I really enjoyed coaching people, writing, and public speaking. The problem is, I'm not an expert in any of these activities. The only things that I'm an expert at are selling and managing sales teams. So I asked a very important question. If I was to pick a niche in sales management, what would I blog about? Well, guess what? In 15 minutes, I came up with 45 blog post ideas, and that's when I got excited. The next day, I launched helpmysalesteamsucks.com. I love that title. Well, congratulations, Russell. I mean, obviously, the first major step is picking a niche, and we're really glad you were able to do that. And he comes from the Academy, right?
Yep, he's an Academy member.
Perfect. I thought those questions looked somewhat familiar. So, all right, thanks, Russell, for sending that in, and let's get to the quick tip.
It's time for the Internet Business Quick Tip.
Okay, as we mentioned recently, we're going to start doing 2 quick tips every episode. Each of us is going to come up with something we thought was cool that we've recently found or been using, or just something that we thought we wanted to share with you, the listener. So my quick tip is about recording video content, and more specifically, recording high-def video content. Now, we're getting to the point where high-def is becoming more and more common, and so for some of your content, you might want to think about recording it in high definition just so you have that option of releasing it in that way as that becomes more of a universal format moving forward. And the really cool thing is you no longer have to buy like $1,000 camcorder in order to go and record in high def. In fact, now you can get small, little portable video recorders that do high definition. Of course, a couple years back, the Flip came out, the Flip camera, which was just quick and easy, did recordings very simply and plug in by USB. And then they came out with the high def for less than $200, which is pretty amazing. However, my quick tip pick is not the Flip camera, because actually there's always been one flaw with the Flip that has kept me from endorsing it or really using it myself, and that is that there was no option to plug in external audio, to plug in a mic externally to get that better audio sound. And really good audio can make or break your video content. People can be very forgiving of just so video quality as long as the audio is good, because that just keeps a continuity going. But if your if your audio is not very good, if it's the mic is just a cheap little built-in mic, or it has a lot of room sound and things like that, then it can be harder for the viewer.